So you beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. Now, I have often criticised Modern Warfare 2 2022, and I think rightly so. There's so many things that are going on in this game that if you compare them to the better Call of Duties or the more famous Call of Duties, I think a lot of people would agree that this game has gone in a direction that isn't really for the best interest of the gamer per se. Yes, it might be in the best interest of profits and the newer player, the person that isn't really going to dedicate themselves to the game. But overall, I think a lot of you guys would agree that the original Modern Warfare 2 was the better game, and you've often heard me go back and be quite nostalgic and tell you about that game. And there's two types of people that are going to be in my audience. You're either going to have been there and played this game in its prime and understand where I'm coming from in terms of why I don't like Modern Warfare 2, the current version, and why the old one was better. Or you're going to be somebody that has only played this version of the game and you have to take my word for it how good this game was. Now, what I thought I'd do today is something a little bit different that I don't believe I've ever done on this channel. So in the background, you are currently watching me play Modern Warfare 2. Now, I played this today. This is on the XLabs engine, so I've been playing it on there. And there are still plenty of people that are playing this absolute classic of a game. And I kind of just wanted to tell you guys about the game. And you can either go down memory lane with me, or you can get an understanding whilst having some visuals as to why I believe this game was categorically so much better than the current Modern Warfare 2. It helps you understand why they named the new game Modern Warfare 2, but also why I believe that the needle has been shifted far too far towards a different direction. And this kind of game is where they need to go back to get numbers and greatness back in terms of Call of Duty. So let's talk about maps, because maps are very sparse when it comes to the likes of the multiplayer aspect of Modern Warfare 2 2022. So on our release of this particular game, we've got several maps, and then to top that up as bonus maps, we've got 2 remakes in the name of Shoot House and the likes of Shipment. In Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, way back in 2009, with only a 2-year development cycle, we got the likes of Afghan, Derail, Estate, Favela, High Rise, Invasion, Karachi, Quarry, Rundown, Rust, Scrapyard, Skid Row, Subbase, Terminal, Underpass, and finally Wasteland. And every single one of these maps, in my opinion, was viable, was playable, was enjoyable. There wasn't really a map here that I would genuinely vote to skip. They were all bangers in the way that you could call in any type of kill streak and do some type of damage. And because most of the kill streaks in Call of Duty Modern Warfare were air based, you better believe they were coming in and doing real damage. And that was one of the things I loved most about Modern Warfare 2, the original. Everything was overpowered. Everything was not broken, but everything was viable. No matter what weapon you was using, everything did damage. And that brought one of the best components to Call of Duty in my personal opinion. The variation in that game was just so much fun. It brought so much to the table in terms of longevity, because you could use any submachine gun, any assault rifle, any LMG and really have fun. It wasn't nothing like the current thing that we have going on, where you have to use a particular meta because of skill-based matchmaking. Because guess what? It didn't exist in this game. People just got connected via a connection base. Maybe there was some skill-based matchmaking in the background, but it wasn't turned to max. It was way down in the low portions of the dial, if you ask me. We had perks that complemented the game, and what was encouraged mostly in this game was engagements. Everybody in the map looked for engagements. Were there places that you could camp? Yes, but a nice little noob tube through that window would quickly flush that person out of that particular portion of the map. They wanted people to engage, and people actively wanted to engage because of the kill streak system. I'm not going to say it was easy to get streaks, but it was easier to get streaks. One, because of the lethality of the weapons, but also because the kill streaks chained. So if you had a Predator missile for 5 kills and your Harrier was 7 kills, if you got 2 kills with your Predator, you was rewarded for your accuracy to get a Harrier. And if the Harrier got enough kills, then that would get the next streak for you, and so forth and so forth. And if you really went for it, you could get the nuke with 25 kills. This game is a cult classic simply because it didn't cater to people sitting and cowering in a corner. It didn't cater to new players. It rewarded you for getting better at the game. It absolutely rewarded you. And I think that fed into the addiction of this game and made it the cult classic that it is. The perk system was fantastic. There weren't too many perks. You could only have 3 at a time. But there was enough. If you wanted to run around the map and be incognito, you could use Cold-Blooded, you could use Ninja Pro and have no footsteps. These weren't timed luxuries that you would get like they've done in Modern Warfare 2 2022. This current game has done everything it can to nullify what people were able to do in that game. And I would say 9 times out of 10, most people, if they played both of them, would argue that Modern Warfare 2, the original, is the more fun game, simply because you are encouraged to play that game. There weren't no timeout games in that game. You weren't sitting there and having a 10-minute game start timing out on you because you couldn't find anybody else to shoot because everyone refuses to move. And I think this is that ideology from the current Infinity Ward of the safe space generation and protecting players in a game that is about war and conflict and looking for your next engagement. Fast twitch shooter. Modern Warfare 2, the original, was this in abundance. And I think if Call of Duty starts going back in that kind of direction and stops shackling people and putting red dots back on the map like it was, I think we would see this game start surging to the top again and seeing so much more interest, because it's very obvious the current formula that is out for this game is just not working. And I don't think that's just my opinion. I think that's shared across the board. But you guys down in the comment section could tell me your thoughts and feelings. If you did have the luxury of playing Modern Warfare 2, the original, do you still believe it was the better game between the two? And if you didn't, do you believe, going back, looking at what I've showed you and what I'm speaking about, that you would enjoy Call of Duty more if it was a more engaging game? Guys, there are many buttons you could hit, but a like and subscribe button, I hope they took your fancy. And as always, guys, don't forget to stay on the right track. Peace.